All right. Let's start by just telling everybody your name and some of your background.
Okay. Jeremiah Blakely. I'm from Canada. Going to school in the States. Right now, I'm going to school for sustainable living. So we're studying renewable energy and um, a number of different practices from like applied soil biology, like different sorts of agricultural and technical things. And yeah, I just found out about open source ecology from one of my professors. He mentioned it, and I checked out online and been following it for the last, well, since I found out about it, so the last 2 months. And yeah, I'm kind of doing a little. I'm on my senior project now for school, and I decided to. My fascination with school has been with eco villages, so I've been looking into appropriate technology applied to eco village development,
Oh,
essentially.
that's great, man. Can you talk more about that in depth? And also, like, do you have experience with soil science and building soil and caring for the land and stuff like that? Or can you talk more about that in depth?
Yeah. Well, if you've heard of Elaine Ingham, I don't know. Anyway,
No, I haven't.
okay. So she's a soil biologist, and she works mainly out of Oregon, but has been traveling worldwide. And it's working with the concept of restoring soil biology um, to reduce water use by up to like 70%, to reduce the need for fertilizers. It's being used a lot in like organic agriculture. So the basis of it is compost teas and compost, and working with like the whole like life cycle of biology, so getting the nematodes and all these things back in the soil.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and then with the senior project, what I'm working on is some people, and they're living at Dancing Rabbit right now, the eco village that's in Missouri, and they just biked around the entire states looking at different eco villages. So they have like a good understanding of where they're at and what they're up to. So they're just shooting a documentary is what they were doing. So I've been networking with them and other people, figuring out like a life cycle analysis for like developing communities. And then I'm living in an intentional community right now, and I can see the implications that because we're all permaculture we're pretty much all going to sustainable living, so we're permaculture students and this sort of stuff. So if we had a tractor and we had these sorts of things, it'd be pretty incredible what we could do to the land. Because just seeing what we've done with like our hands in the last 2 years has been pretty incredible. So then enabling now technology, and we're all students, so we don't have the money. So this is like how I can see open source technology being applied to uh, like a people based culture, I guess.
What would you do if you had the tractor to talk about that?
Uh, well, we have these fields are just being like they're just hay fields right now, and that's out to a neighbor who's doing hay. But there's a whole bunch of north slopes, so we'd swale them and put in like a
Mm-hmm.
we'd gild a food forest basically. Put in
Right.
hazelnuts and pears and like a fruit forest plus like a nut forest and some understory stuff. So you can like basically terraform, which is huge. And then I built a straw bale cob house down by the lake, and it was volunteer based, which is the only way that I could afford the house for $3,000. Um, because well, it's like $400 for straw, which isn't that much, but you can use a tractor to get that. I just see like, and then you're all mixing the cob by hand, and you got a whole bunch of like, you got like three people mixing cob, two people like getting the slush slurry, and then other people digging out of the ground to get in the slush slurry. It's like,
You could
ah,
streamline that whole thing, huh?
yeah, Yeah. So a friend of mine just built a light clay straw tumbler. So it's like a big culvert with like 6-inch spikes in it, and you basically just put in the straw, and then you put in your slurry mix, and it makes a light clay straw,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just stuff that in your walls with a stick frame.
Wow. Right on, man.
So seeing that being used for a friend of mine's house, and how much labor that reduces,
Yeah.
then yeah, then you like start to see the implications of things like tractor and these sorts of things.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like you've got an interest in agriculture, maybe some sustainable construction. Do you want to talk more about your interest at factory farm in general?
Okay, so I'm looking to do. My end goal is to be an eco village consultant or developing community consultant. Um, Looking at applying appropriate technology. Um, the vision I've basically come up with is that at factory farms, I would be somewhat ideally as a middleman between like holding the vision and somebody else who has like a vision, and I'll be able to hold it, see what different components are there and why, and then be working with the technicians.
Okay.
Um,
So you'd be
so this is
executing the vision.
what's that?
You'd be executing the vision
Yeah,
and
yeah.
consulting
So
a team maybe. Like you might be a
technicians.
project manager
Yeah,
potentially.
yeah. Essentially, I mean, I just kind of want to put forth what my vision is, and then we can exchange what you guys need and what my skills are and what skills you need, and then place me appropriately type thing.
Okay, awesome, man. And you're interested in working with the CEB press too, or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely,
All right, awesome.
absolutely.
Because we we'll definitely need to build housing on demand, and the goal is to get the cost down to around $5,000 in 1 week of construction.
Okay,
Do you think that's an attainable goal?
$5,000. Oh, for the CB press.
No, just to build a structure, a house, within a week for a cost of less than $5,000.
Like a small house.
It would be, oh yeah, it'd be out of CEBs. No, yeah, it'd be compressed earth bricks with double wall construction and hay insulation. Maybe
Yeah,
some maybe some wood frame structure built into, and then I don't know what we would do for the roof or the foundation yet. I mean, eventually the goal is to have a cement mixer. We could probably lay a foundation that way. At this time, I have no idea what the roof looks like. I mean, the Hab
yeah,
Lab and Fab Lab have these like metal roofs, but with like a wood frame structure. But anyway, so
yeah,
does that sound like a feasible goal to get that 5,000 1 week?
yeah. It does to me. I built my house. Took a month and a half. No, pretty much no machines. I had like a Makita power drill set. It took me a month and a half. Built a 12 by 12. Uh, yeah, straw bale cabin for 3 grand. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think with
oh yeah,
machinery, you can totally build a house.
sweet man.
I mean, for a week's pushing it because you have to, if everything is really well organized, you can do it. Um,
Yeah, we want to actually push that edge and see what we can achieve. You know, maybe it takes a couple weeks and then we just get better at it as a team and we document
yeah,
that process.
that'll be huge too. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So, do you have what other skills? I mean, do you want to get involved in the fabrication?
yeah. Well, like I said, like ideally, like my end like set of skills would be I'd be able to go to an eco village, have like unskilled or mildly skilled people and be able to kind of walk them through the process. So that would mean I first of all I need to be able to see the different components and how it's going to fit into the eco village. So I need to like have a good understanding of how all these different machines fit together, and different staging of machines, and then also be working enough with the technicians that I can kind of guide that whole system. So yeah, I would be involved with fabrication ideally. I mean, because my skill set is a bit different. I mean, I could see myself playing a lot of roles in like different permaculture or building things because that's a lot where my experience is. Um, but I'm also very interested personally in learning about fabrication and the more mechanical side
Yeah,
and the operational sides.
I mean, our goal is to have a bunch of people, achieve a critical mass at Factory Farm this summer. There's going to be a lot of people who have a ton of interest and no skill in fabrication. Everyone's going to be learning at the same time. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I felt like there was something sticky in that answer in the question, but I feel like maybe if you're hesitating because you don't have a lot of experience fabricating, but you feel like you need to be aware of how that works, you'll definitely be in a position to get training if you come to Factory Farm. That's part of the plan, and it's okay that you don't have a lot of metalworking experience if that's true. I mean, I get that feeling.
yeah. I don't to the degree.
That's okay.
That's there. I grew up on a farm and we had a shop. We had drills and all sorts of different tools and a forge and that sort of stuff. So I have some experience.
Okay,
But
are you interested in coming to Factory Farm this summer?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's your availability?
So there's two possible choices. It basically depends on a trip to Bhutan, which is like a developing country that's opening up to the world, and I'd have the opportunity to talk to different government people there and maybe propose the idea of that country adopting um, a system such as open source ecology for the local production, because the country is pretty incredible. The country is based on like they have a gross national happiness for the country,
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
right? So the government's pretty open to really cool ideas, and so I'd like to like present an appropriate technology based thing to some people there, as well as it's an awesome thing for schooling um, and other reasons. So that's that. That would be the third week in July. I'd be available, and if not, I'm available basically end of May, so beginning of June.
So end of May or third week of July?
Yeah,
So when does that trip take place? Beginning of July or what?
yeah, it's June, second week in June. It's a till and then it's 5 week trip and then ends in the third week of July.
I mean, if you're going to be an emissary, that seems like a pretty huge potential future partner. It'd be good for you to come to Factory Farm before that, meet Martian, and kind of have him rub off on you, so you can get the or at least meet with him. If you're going to represent OSC, we should work on you. If you can't make it to Factory Farm, then you should spend some time meeting Martian, or we should get you up to date on the current mission and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been trying to get down there. I've tried to organize a few. I sent Marston a thing, and then it was $500. I'm like, oh man, how do I come up with $500? So then I was like, okay, I'll arrange this whole visitor thing. So I tried to get the university involved, and then anyway, that was like too much because then I have classes coming down. I didn't seem like Factor Farms could kind of host that yet. So I definitely want to come down, spend a week or two, and if possible, just check out the scene and soak it up.
Okay, and then potentially you're interested in a couple, like at least a month stay or a couple months or.
Yeah. Well, I'm Canadian, so I finished school in May, and then I have basically 13 months that I can stay in the States with like a work extension visa.
Oh wow.
So I'd ideally be working there the whole time because it's going to take a while to learn all those skills.
This is the time to be at Factory Farm, man. We're gonna ramp it up this summer, and it's not gonna stop, dude. It's gonna be the next level, so it'll be exciting.
Yeah, that sounds sweet.
And have you seen the Hab Labs?
Yeah,
They
I've been checking it.
look they look. I didn't know they were gonna be that nice, man. This is like some like Sedona style, like sculpted like clay fucking stuff. I shouldn't cuss, but
In the room?
stucco, and it's just yeah, the living units are amazing. They're really nice. Okay,
Wow.
man. Let me see if I can pull up some more routine questions. Um, what about okay? Like, how about living in a community? So you live in an intentional community now. What about conflict resolution? How do you get along with people? Communication. Talk about some of that stuff.
We've had some conflicts at this community between like flowing it out, and then people with more like structure or uh, jealousy, or different things like that. Um, so pretty open with communicating. Um, I can be, I definitely express it, but it can also be express things too early. I mean, just say that like I'm more direct, and some people are indirect and like things to kind of evolve and flow out first. Whereas like I like to, when a problem's there, then I acknowledge the problem, communicate about it, and then ideally it's done right away.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's kind of like a skill that you evolve over a lifetime of communication, and I'm pretty conflict free in general, and I'm pretty good at communicating.
Okay. Awesome. I feel like I'm getting kind of a sign here, like you're breaking up.
Okay.
Let's. I think we've got a good 15 minutes at least that Martian can take a look at. So let's just wind it up. Unless do you want to say something at the end?
Uh, no, I'm just excited.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, we're excited
I
too.
just, yeah, I've been checking out, and I've been going to school for sustainable living, so I've been studying all sorts of different systems as they're applied to sustainability on like a global.
All right, I'm just gonna wind it up.